Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada yena akshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagartha Viva Samprikto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste. We will chant our Maheshwara Sutra. Om A I Un Rilik E Ong I Ouch Haya Varata Larn Nyamangana Nam Jabhanya Ghadadash Jabagadadash Kapha chata tha chata tav kapai shashasar hal iti maheshwarani sutrani. Om su o jas ort shas Tabhyam bhis nge bhyam bhyas ngasi bhyam bhyas ngas os am ni os sup. Om. So we were seeing in our last class, we were seeing this in anta, we're saying in ending. Let me pull it up here. Yogi-śabdha, yogin. Nakaranta pullinga-śabdha. We've been seeing this for the last two classes. Yogi, right? Now it's such a common word, even in American culture. We see this so much. Now this is from yogin-śabdha, right? We have to identify it as actually not just, it says nakaranta pullinga, but we really want to identify it as in anta, right here, in anta pullinga shabda. This one you have to identify with the last two letters, because we'll see some other nakaranta ending which are a little bit different. So we identified this with the last two letters. So in ending, or in anta pullinga shabda. Inanta pullinga shabda. So we can chant this one together as well. Yogi. So, okay, so look at the changes, right? These area where there's some changes. So yogin, the nakaranta goes away and it becomes dirga, so yogi, right? In here, also this pada section, the nakaranta goes away, right? There's a sutra, nalopa pratipatikanta. Nalopa sandhi, where the na goes away, right? So knowing that much, na goes away here as well, right? That's still part of the pada section. Knowing that, we can just look at this and we can chant it, right? Okay. So yogi, yogino, yoginaha, yoginam, yogino, yoginaha. 3-1. Yogina. Okay, now we're in the pada section. So yogi bhyam, yogi bihi. Then yogine, yogi bhyam, yogi bhyaha. Yoginaha. Now back in the pada section. So yogi bhyam, yogi bhyaha. I see this is page 134, the Yogin-śabdha, 134. So in case people are lost. Right, fifth case, yoginaha, yogi bhyam, yogi bhyaha. Sixth case, yoginaha, yoginoho, yoginam. Seventh case, yogini. We have to make sure we're saying short e because it's yogini, and that's feminine, right? That's feminine yogini. That would be 1-1 feminine Yogin-śabdha. Okay. 7-2 yoginoho, and then yogisu, because that's part of the pada section 7-3, right? So then nakara goes away. So yogi, not su, because it's preceded by ikara, so yogi shu. Then you just see it's the same thing, but now it doesn't, the nakara doesn't go away in the sambodhana. So hey yogin, hey yogino, hey yoginaha. Okay, so we see how important getting that su o jas is, so that we can just add it in our heads, and then we just pick up some of the changes, especially a lot of these are in the pada section and 1-1. So if we're okay, we can move on to our next shabda. It's always exciting to meet new shabdas. It's like meeting a new friend that's going to be part of our, part of our family. Adding a tool to the tool belt, so that when we're in Vedanta class or Bhagavad Gita class and you're seeing some of the words, you're wondering, what? We've never learned that. But now slowly you won't be surprised by the declensions of words. That's my hope, at least. We're going to be switching to Bhagavat-śabdha. Shri Bhagavan-uvacha, right? This is page 136. Page 136, Bhagavat-śabdha. So we identify this by, again, the last two letters. So mat or vat, you'll see why mat or vat, but there are two that decline the same way, mat, vat. Ending in punlinga or strilinga, but we're really going to look at punlinga today. Strilinga, we add the ikara and then it declines like nadi. Like Bhagavati declines like nadi. So there's mat, vat, and punlinga, right? Men are always difficult. So this is why in punlinga, a little bit more difficult. We always have to learn new rules. Always trying to adapt to all the men in our family. They're always difficult. So we got to find new rules for them. This pratipadika, Bhagavat, is actually, it's a derived word. It's derived from the word bhaga. Bhaga. Um, when my nephew was little, if there was an insect, he would say, "That's a big bugger." Bugger, right? So, but that's not that bugger. There's a bugger. Bugger means a glory, or here it says virtue. There's a typo. It says virtuer, but virtue, virtue or a glory. So we add this word bhaga, which means a glory, something which is great, or a virtue. And we add the suffix mat. Okay, so this is a new suffix which we're learning, where you add mat to a word, and it gives the meaning of one who has ... one who has something. So bhaga plus mat means one who has bhaga, one who has virtues, one who has glories. Nanu, there's an objection. The objection is that, but here I see va, I don't see mat, I see vat. Why? Because mat is, the ma mat is changed into va when the pratipadika has a, or ma, makara. At the end of it, or at the penultimate, second to last. Penultimate means second to last. Penultimate is more somehow confusing, but so ma are at the end, or they're second to last. So we see bhaga, right? Bhaga. Okay, this is not Hindi class. This is not Gujarati. It's not bug. It's bhaga, right? There's an at the end, meaning that the ma changed to va. So we get bhagavat. Okay, meaning one who has bhaga. So let's look at a few of these, just these other words. We see dhanavat, right? Dhana means wealth. When I add the suffix mat, mat means one who has. So one who has wealth, dhanavat. So wealthy person. Why does it become matava? Because dhana is the pratipadika, right? The original word is dhana. Dhana ends with a. So therefore ma becomes va. So dhanavat. Okay. Buddhimat. Here it doesn't end with an a, or ma, or the second to last letter is not a, or ma. So we keep it as mat. Buddhimat. One who has a buddhi. We didn't translate buddhi because your buddhi should know what buddhi means by now. One who has buddhi. Lakshmivat. Lakshmivat. One who has Lakshmi. Now this one stumped me. Why does ma become va for Lakshmivat? Because the last letter or the second to last letter can end with a, or ma. Makara, right? Here we makara. The second to last letter is makara. So therefore, ma becomes va. This is one of the main examples we have for where the makara, second to last makara. One who has Lakshmi. Lakshmivat. So if I say Lakshmivat, I'm not really referring to Lakshmi, I'm referring to maybe Vishnu, who is with Lakshmi. Or one who is wealthy, right? Vidyavat, one who has knowledge, right? Vidya asya asti, one, so that mat, one who has, so one who has vidya, it ends with akara, that's why it becomes vat, right? Shrimat, Shrimat Bhagavat Gita. But here they're taking Shri as wealth. You can take Shri as glory also. So the glorious Bhagavat, the glorious Gita. Hanumat, one becomes Hanuman. Hanu means chin, this chin. So the one who has a special chin, because Hanuman he got hit by the bolt of Indra in the chin, and he's that big dent in his chin. So he's a special chin, and therefore he's called Hanuman. Okay. These are also some words. They were declined a little bit different. They're derived with the suffix called atu. Atu ending suffixes, but they decline in the same manner as mat ending. Okay, so even though it looks slightly different, atu, it still declines the same as mat in both masculine and feminine. So gatavat, one who has gone. See, here you have, it's more of these, you get, eventually it becomes a noun, but you start with the dhatu, right? Gachati, gat, gam, and becomes gata, one, and then gata plus atu, and then you get gatavat eventually. Eventually you get gatavat. There's this long process that it becomes gatavat. We'll see that in the next book. One who has gone, ukta, becomes from vach dhatu, right? One who has said, shrutavat, one who has heard, drishtavat, one who has seen. And then you see these are tavat, means that much. Bhavat, respectful way to say you. So in Sanskrit Bharati, you'll see people say bhavan, bhavan khatamasti, or bhavati khatamasti, right? That's from this word, bhavat. So let's look at now this declension. Okay. Now we need to note that there's a special rule that applies in this section. This section in red. This section in dark bold that I'm highlighting is called the Sarva Namasthana. I'll show you the words so you can see it. Sarva Namasthana. Right? This section right here is called Sarva Namasthana. This section right here is called the Pada section, right? And then the rest of this is called Ba. So Sarva Namasthana, Pada, and then you get this is Ba. So now going back to our word. In the Sarva Namasthana section, you can abbreviate that. SNS maybe, if you want to abbreviate Sarva Namasthana. In that section, what you'll see is a nakara is inserted after the last vowel of the Pratipadika. Okay, nakara is added. And in 1-1, there's dirgha of the akara before the na, and then there's a elision of ta. Let me show you what this looks like before it's a little complicated. So this is 1-1, okay? Bhagavat plus sa. Right, 1-1, the sa, su, always, it goes away, right? Now, in this being mat in sarvanamasthana, an extra na is inserted after the last vowel. Where is the last vowel here? We ba, ga, va, right? Between the va, vakara, and the takara, there's an right? So after that I'm going to get this na, nakara. Not a full, it's na without the so nakara, right? So it becomes bhagavant. Now, the rest of these just say bhagavant, and then they get the suffix. So bhagavanto, bhagavantaha, bhagavantam, bhagavanto, like that. But 1-1 keeps going. 1-1's always a little bit difficult, right? So now what happens is, also this is specific to mat suffix ending, pratipadika. In 1-1, the before the nakara is made dirgha. The before the nakara is dirgha. So it becomes bhagavant. Bhagavant. Now there's a rule that if it ends in a suffix, if it ends in a conjunct consonant, meaning if there's those two consonants joined together, conjunct consonant, then the last letter of the conjunct consonant at the end of a pada, that last letter of the conjunct consonant is removed. So you won't often see conjunct consonant ending words, because if it ends in a conjunct consonant, that last letter will be removed. So the bhagavant, the takara is removed. So now I just have bhagavan. Shri Bhagavan uvacha kutastva kashmalamidam, right? So we get the nakara, so bhagavant, it becomes dirgha, bhagavant, and then the takara goes away, bhagavan. So if I have, let's say, dhanavat, dhanavat becomes dhanavan. Right? Hanumat becomes Hanuman. That's the easiest way of remembering it. Now, in Sambodhana, the entire steps are the same, except that does not become long. So it just says Bhagavan. Hey, Bhagavan. That it doesn't become dirgha, it doesn't become long. So it's just Bhagavan, not Bhagavan. So this is many sadhus will address each other as, hey, Bhagavan, oh, glorious one. Or that they're seeing Ishvara there, another person. So, hey, Bhagavan. Now, this is pretty similar that we, in 1-2, right? 1-2, Bhagavat plus O, we add the nakara because it's in the sarvanamasthana, right? So Bhagavant plus O. But then that's it, Bhagavanto. Okay, so Bhagavan, Bhagavanto, Bhagavantaha, Bhagavantam, Bhagavanto. So, right, we have to remember that it ends at 2-2, that's Sarvanamasthana. So now no nakara will be added. So now just Bhagavat plus shas, right? Us. So Bhagavat plus us, we get Bhagavataha. Let's just look at, without looking at the pada section, Bhagavat plus a, Bhagavata. Bhagavat plus a, Bhagavate. Bhagavat plus us, Bhagavataha. Bhagavataha. Bhagavatoho, Bhagavatam. Bhagavati, Bhagavatoho. Okay. Okay, does anybody, let's pause here. Does anybody have any questions? Harper Sadras, I'll unmute you. I think that was a question from earlier, so, but please go ahead.
Kshamita Mahodaya, you answered it.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any questions? Please put a question mark in the chat if you do, because I can't see everyone's faces as well at all the times. It switches over. Okay. So now we need to look at this pada section. This pada section declines just like marut. How does marut decline? Marut, I put the marut declension just so we can remember what marut looks like in the pada section. And then we'll see why in this mat ending. So marut plus byam, right? Now this jashtva sandhi comes in. This is where we first learned jashtva sandhi, right? Jashtva sandhi means it becomes soft. The consonant becomes soft. Meaning that if it's first or second in that row, then it goes to third class. Marut plus byam becomes marud byam. Right? So if we have Bhagavat plus byam, Bhagavat byam becomes dakara. Right? Bhagavat byam. Bhagavat bihi. Bhagavat byam, Bhagavat byaha. Bhagavat byam, Bhagavat byaha. And then 7-3. 7-3, there's a bunch of steps. It ends up becoming marutsu anyways. But there's this chartva sandhi. So it becomes soft, and then chartva sandhi becomes hard. So first jashtva sandhi makes it soft, then chartva sandhi makes it hard. So it goes back. So we can just say that here, it's just Bhagavatsu. You're just adding it. But technically, there's two sandhis that happen during that process. So Bhagavat byam, Bhagavat bihi, Bhagavat byam, Bhagavat byaha, Bhagavat byam, Bhagavat byaha, Bhagavatsu. This is if someone's talking too much, right? And it's hard to listen to them. then you can nod your head and pretend you're listening, but then you chant Bhagavan, Bhagavanto, Bhagavantaha, Bhagavantam, Bhagavanto, Bhagavataha. I always share this, but I used to record myself on my smartphone, use voice memo. I would record myself chanting this. All these charts I would chant very slowly. And then when I'm walking around or if I'm sitting somewhere, I'll listen to it and I'll chant along with the recording. So it becomes like your japa. It's not that we necessarily need to memorize it, but it's that when we see the word in a context, we should be able to identify what's the case for it, right? Quickly. Here we're primed to know that we're in matvat, so you can easily find the word. But in, for example, a Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita or a commentary, right? Shankaracharya's commentary, then we should be able to identify the words quickly, right? And so that's why memorizing or knowing them, really reviewing them a lot does help in that context. So here's our sentence. This is exercise 39. Exercise 39 is page 184 in the back of the book. So before we go into the sentences and details, let's just quickly look at, right, identifying our words. Right, number one. First, we identify which are the matvat endings. We see Shriman, right? We also say Buddhiman, Buddhimatam, sorry, Buddhimatam. And this is also a good way of remembering the vocabulary, right? Shriman, one who has Shri, one who has wealth. Buddhimatam means buddhimat, one who has buddhi, intellect. One who has intelligence. Dhimantaha, right? Dhiman, right? Dhiman. Do we even have Dhiman? We don't have Dhiman. Dhiman is same as Buddhiman, basically. Dhi means intellect. Dhihi. So Dhimantaha, one who has intellect again. And then Hanumantaha, one who has Hanu. So it's Hanuman Bhagavan. Vidyavantam Hanumantam Namami. Right, so I salute to Hanuman, that Hanuman, these are in Samanadhikaranam, right? Vidyavantam Hanumantam Namami. So I salute Hanuman who has vidya, who has knowledge. You can try these exercises out. It's also a good practice of making declension charts for some of these pratipadikas. So those are always good practices, is making those declension charts. The workbook has those pages which you can photocopy and then make the chart. But yeah, these are our sentences. We can do as many as you can, and then we can review some of them. We won't have class next week or the week after, so we'll have a 2-week holiday. We'll come back. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hariri Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hariri Om.